Hey, Sean, guess what? I
What we
got some great news, man.
Okay.
Did I win the lottery? Nah, better than that. Did I find like some ancient gold buried in the beach here with my metal detector in Chicago at Oak Street Beach? Nah, it's better than that. You know what it is?
Website's up.
Yes, finally. We launched the Moneyline Madman website, indeed. And it's about as virgin as you can get. I haven't even registered yet. But we're going to build communities. We're going to talk about sports betting. Hell, we'll even talk about the stock market. We'll talk about all sorts of ways that we can try to make more money, right, Sean? I mean, we're Moneyline Madmen. It doesn't say just sports. The first word in it is money. Isn't that what we all want a little bit more of?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So head on over to Moneyline Madman, register and sign up, and let's start building a community of like-minded people who want to talk about sports and other ways to make more money. And, let's build this thing over the next few years. And then, we can have something special, a cool place to hang out. We're not going to be like we're not going to be like Jack Dorsey or some of these other people and real hardliners on, content. It's a free speech zone. So you're free to say what you want, but there's some things are off limits. Just keep them off limits. Be smart. It's a community. We're all supposed to be friends. You want to rub somebody like Sean for making a bad pick, go right ahead.
Just do it the right way.
Yeah, there's just no need for personal stuff, man. It's a cool place to hang out. We're I'm not into safe zones or any of that kind of stuff. When I was a kid, I was crying one time and I came home and my mom like, what happened? Like, guys, Mom, I was in a tree and they were throwing sticks and rocks at me and they were calling me names. And my mom said to me, son, sticks and stones will break your bones and words will never hurt you. And I told her, Mom, they were throwing sticks and stones at me. But I understand where you're coming from with the word. She said, if you ever have anybody says something to you, you come home crying, I'll give you a reason to cry. So that's it, Mark. I'm with you, Marco. Let's go, baby. Let's get this website rolling. Let's see if we can pick up where we left off yesterday, Sean. We had a pretty good Monday.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado couldn't do it without giving you a heart attack. But
oh my Lord, what is that all
about? You're going to be warming up and going in the bottom of the ninth or top of the ninth soon for your teams.
I don't know, man. I can't tell you. In the last week, I had in that Field of Dreams game, I had the White Sox winning by 1.5, getting a nice run line. And then in the top of the ninth, they gave up 4 runs. Liam Hendricks, who I think was the all-star closer, gives up 4 runs. And then, of course, Anderson hits a 2-run home run, gives the White Sox the 1-run win. And then a couple days later, I had the Cubs against the Marlins, and they're down to 2 outs, and they bring in 3 runs. And then, of course, the Marlins come back and win the game by 1 in the bottom of the ninth. And then last night, 2 outs. I'm on Colorado, and hopefully some of you are on Colorado as well, because you're getting a plus line. What's happening, Drew? Good to see you again, my man. If you haven't heard, Moneyline Madman's up. Go on over there and register. Get your account started. We're going to build a great community. And then they hit the 3-run home run with 2 outs again. I'm like, Sean, I can't take any more of this. But fortunately, they came through and hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth and proved to be that home plus line was the right way to go.
Yeah, and then now they have a winning record against San Diego this year, so they're good against San Diego. So we'll see how today's matchup looks.
And I hit my little 3-team 200 minus 200 money line parlay.
And we could have added those other 2 teams I said about too. And we could have made it a 5-team parlay. A lot of favorites won yesterday, and a lot of home teams won yesterday.
It's crazy. We were talking about this yesterday a little bit about people out there complaining or whatever, bragging. I take minus 200 teams. I put 3 of them together in a parlay. A lot of other folks out there will take 3 of them and bet them individually and claim that as a 3 wins. Anybody can do that. Reds minus 3.5. That would see. That would be med. Yeah, I think that could happen, Drew. I think I'm going to be on that game. Maybe not 3.5, but maybe a little bit something else on that game. So let's go ahead and get cracking on the baseball game, Sean. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't have any player props today, but I'm still looking. I might throw one out later.
Well, there were some soccer games today too, but I didn't like any of the lines. So there'll be more in the MLS tomorrow. So I'll be more, maybe I'll have a couple nice home teams with plus lines tomorrow in the MLS. And of course, we'll have our golf picks tomorrow. But we're focused on today. So in the first game between the Yankees and Boston, the Yankees caught the first one, Sean. Does that mean you back the Boston team here?
I don't know. The Yankees been really hot. This Lewis Gill second start, he hasn't given up a run yet. This is another doubleheader game I'm just going to pass on altogether.
You're going to stay away from this one altogether?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that. Looking at this game, for me, the Yankees have the run line advantage. The Yankees have the power line advantage. The Yankees have most of the money bet on them, but they just won the first game of the doubleheader. And you know how I feel about the team who wins the first game, Sean, usually does what in the second game?
They usually lose the second game, but I don't know if
I think you're starting to see some money really slant towards Boston in the second game. It was a 50-50 a little bit ago, but now it's about 68% of the tickets are on Boston, and that money's jumped up to 87 cents on the dollar. So a lot of folks following that, if the first one wins, you bet against them in the second one mentality.
Yeah, and I'll just note too, Joey Gallo's been really hot lately. Last couple days, hitting home runs and stuff. So I don't think he homered earlier, but that's been a bet.
He helped me out in that parlay last night. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
He produced the 2 runs. They won 2-1. I'm like, oh no, here comes the closers. I'm about to see another home run. That happened later in the night, and then Toronto and Washington. Again, Washington, a little bit better than a AAA team, a little bit better than my Cubs, but Toronto is a much better offensive team than Washington. Right now, you have about 80, almost 90% of the tickets are on the Blue Jays. But the money is split 50-50. You got some people out there maybe looking for a price here. Are you going to take a price here, Sean?
No, there's no way. I think Toronto wins this game. It's almost –
There's no way Toronto wins this game? Is that what you're saying? So
no, yeah. I actually almost think the run line – I know it's minus 125. That's almost fair. I mean, they should win here.
Negative run lines are never fair, Sean.
Yeah, well,
never, ever. Baseball,
the team mismatch and even the pitching matchup. This Alex Manaea for Toronto has been really good. It's almost intriguing. I'm not going to do it, but this is one I throw Toronto on one of those parlays like you did yesterday.
Mm-hmm. So just look at it like this, Sean. And this is, let's just say there's a 50-50 chance that you pick the winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 30% of all baseball games, if I remember correctly. So 70%, I think, are won by more than 1 run. So by 2 runs. So you have a 50% chance of getting it, and 70% chance of if you pick the winner, that the team wins by more than 1.5 runs. So by 2 runs or more. That's 50 times 70%. That means you literally have a 35% chance of getting that right. There's no way on the planet you should be taking a negative line for something that you have a 35% chance to get right. Now, of course, when you add in, for example, a team that's maybe minus 200, and then you multiply that by 70, right? So that minus 200 suggests about a 67% chance. So 67, so 70% is 60%, about 50%. You should still have a positive run line. That's the way I look at everything. Vegas is never going to pay you fairly. That's not how they make their money. But that's why I insist on having a positive run line if I'm going to take a run line.
I will say, though, with Toronto, 55 of their 63 wins have become with 2 or more runs. So that's 80. If they win this game, they have an 87% chance of winning this game by more than a run and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So
about 56%. So something like that. It's a 50-50. Well, it's a little better than 50-50 chance they win the game. All right. So here we go, Drew. The next game on the list is the Chicago Cubs versus Cincinnati. Are you going to lay 3.5 runs, Sean?
No, but I'll lay the 1.5, and I'll take Cincinnati here. Cubs are just giving up runs right and left. And this might be one you want to do that DraftKings or FanDuel same game parlay and, do what I did, take Jonathan India over a base and a half, Gallo, a couple bases. These guys, I mean, it was ridiculous. India was up like 3 times in the first 4 innings. So
it's a merry-go-round. The Cubs, like the other teams, people, just a merry-go-round. They just get up and go around for sure. Yeah, I like this game a lot. I'm going to actually take the Reds. I'm going to lay 1.5, even though Kyle Hendricks is actually probably the only major league pitcher the Cubs have right now. That's not true. They've got some other ones. But when you look at him against the Reds in Cincinnati, he's got a 6.16 ERA. I think it's like the fourth worst ERA he has against any squad in any stadiums out there. He seems to get hit around. Gutierrez has pitched, I think, once or twice against the Cubs. Has a pretty decent ERA, 2.80, 2.38, 2.40, somewhere in that range versus the Cubs. And then Cincinnati has the third best offense at home. Cubs are 24th worst on the road. And you got to remember, a lot of that data included Baez, included Bryant, included Rizzo, included Jock Peterson, whatever that's worth. So they're not playing very well. They're 0-10 in their last 10 games. The Cubs have packed it in. They're just waiting for the season to end. And I'm going to lay the -1.5, and I'm going to pick it up at +112, Sean.
So we're on the same bet then.
Yeah, and plus I'm up back over 10%. So I'm going to up my tickets again to $30. It seems like every time I up them to $30, I pay a price. But let's go. Come on, Drew. Let's go 1.5 plus 113.
Yeah, and to answer Drew's question here, he said, is it dumb to pick Toronto -1 instead of -1.5? And I would say, yeah, because when Toronto wins, they're going to win by 2 or more runs. Plus, the only thing you're protecting yourself there is if Toronto wins
by 1.
Yeah, you get your money back, basically. So I would do it the other way. You get more value.
You do get more value. But I don't like, again, because I've gone through the math, and I don't want to have like a who's a smarter than a fifth grader show here. But the math says to me, just generally speaking, that if I don't get a plus line, I cannot take a run line. It's just against my baseball religion. Next up, Atlanta and Miami. I was thinking about Miami yesterday. Glad I didn't go that route. Alcantara is probably their best pitcher. Does really, really well at home. I feel like maybe Miami can come back in, but those metrics flipped yesterday with that game between Atlanta and Miami. Atlanta now has the power line the power ranking differential and 50-50 in terms of run line. And they're a little bit better team on the road than Miami is at home. And the simulator says that the Braves win this game about 55% of the time. The odds say the Braves win this game 55% of the time. I can't take either side, Sean.
Yeah, there's too many mixed signals. I wanted to take Miami with Alcantara going, but Atlanta's really hot right now. So I couldn't do either team.
You couldn't do either team. Yeah. Well, looking at the money line right now, at least how the money is spread out between these two teams, the Braves have got about 70% of the tickets, about 65% of the money. So a little bit of the smart money is leaning, not aggressively, but it's just a little taste on that Miami Fish team. I can't go along with them. The Orioles and the Rays. This is -225, maybe one of those -200 parlays. I'm not on one of those tonight because I have a second baseball team, so I don't need to have a second option out there for me. I already played a plus line. So in this game, Tampa Bay wins. Tampa Bay probably wins big. That's what the power rankings say. That's what the run lines say. That's what the bettors are saying. 95 cents on the dollar is on the Tampa Bay squad. I pass.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. And you got John Means going for Baltimore, who is their best pitcher. He hasn't been pitching all that great lately. Tampa Bay probably wins, but there's no value to be had here. And I wouldn't even throw this game on a parlay just because of John Means going.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Marco. I do think the Blue Jays are a double check. And Atlanta and Oakland, I agree. Atlanta and Oakland, we'll get to the Oakland squad, but I do agree with you on the first two. Maybe not so much on the White Sox side of the game. Milwaukee and St. Louis. This is interesting to me. You got, I think, maybe one of the best pitchers in baseball, Burns, against Wainwright, who's really good at home. You're catching Wainwright at home at +140 against maybe the best pitcher in baseball, or one of them anyway. And the Sharps, which side are the Sharps on, Sean? You had to guess.
They got to be on Milwaukee, though.
They're all over the Cardinals in this spot.
Really?
2/3 of the bets are on the Brewers, but 2/3 of the money is on the Cardinals. I find that to be very interesting. That's probably one of the biggest mismatches of the day. Looking at the game in terms of paper, it looks to me like got to find it in my list of things here. Where did you go? The Milwaukee squad has the power rankings and the run line differential. It says that they should win this game a lot more often than they lose it. They have a much better road record than the Cardinals do at home. In fact, Milwaukee plays better, I think, on the road than they do at home overall. Minus 152. Are you going to take Milwaukee, Sean?
No, I'm not. It's a mismatch, and I'd say Milwaukee. But with Wainwright going, I didn't trust it on the road. It's too big of a price for me.
Yeah, it just strikes me as odd that all that money is on the Cardinals. I feel like I was ready to take Milwaukee on this spot, but when I saw that smart money tilting so heavily towards the Cardinals, it's almost like they know something, and sometimes they do. Seattle and Texas. I was thinking about taking Texas here again, plus 128. The Rangers, actually, Seattle's a little bit better on the road than the Rangers are at home, but the Rangers score more runs at home than Seattle does on the road. So you have the run differential advantage favoring the home team. And then the simulator's about 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 game that probably leans a little bit towards Texas tonight. And you're getting maybe plus 128. That line's down from the open of 138. It's the Rangers. Can you bet Texas?
Yeah, you can. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
They're playing a lefty. They're facing a lefty. They're 21 of their 42 wins came against his starting left-handed pitcher. And Seattle is 11-12 as the favorite. So if you play against Seattle, we always talk about them good with an underdog. They're not good as a favorite. So
they're the favorite tonight, huh?
Yeah, I'll take Texas and the plus value here.
What about NRFI on Brewers card game, Sean?
No run first inning. You could do it, but some of these games where the good pitchers, their struggle is the first inning.
If it's going to come, it's going to be Milwaukee. I don't think the Cardinals are going to. Burns is really lights out. If you look at some of the advanced metrics on Burns, like the barrel rate so in other words, how often the batter actually squares the bat up with the ball, it's like 3%. It's really low. It's one of the lowest in all of baseball. So I feel like if any team is going to score, it's going to be Milwaukee. So I don't know. Can you do St. Louis no runs in the first inning? Is that possible, Sean?
You'd have to wait and to do live betting and then wait, and your value is not going to be very good after,
after the first time.
You couldn't even do it. So
I would think Milwaukee will be the first to score, but if anyone's going to score in that first inning, I feel like it's going to be Milwaukee because Burns he pitched really, really well. So anyway, you're going to take Texas for 25, right?
I'm going to take Texas. Plus 130, yeah. I'm going to take Texas here. I like it.
Well, you're getting plus 128. That's the best shopping I can find for you. I had to go to Kohl's.
Okay, yeah. Texas against a left-handed starting pitcher is different, and they're also better at home, and Seattle's not that great on the road, and they're not good as a favorite. So,
well, the money disagrees with you and the bets disagree with you, Sean. So I hope you're on the right side of this because 75, 3/4 of the money and the bets are on the Mariners to get this game and bring it home. They're actually playing pretty good baseball. I'm surprised. They have a pretty solid record this season and one of those up-and-coming teams that probably is overlooked in a lot of games. Oakland and the Chicago White Sox. In this particular spot, the Athletics are taking 2/3 of the money, and the White Sox are getting a little bit – 2/3 of the bets, but the White Sox are getting the majority of the money at about 55 cents on that. So, Marco, it looks like the public is with you is against you. At least the smart people are with the bets favoring the White Sox. And as far as I'm concerned, looking at my metrics, the White Sox have the power ranking and run line differential in this spot tonight. It's a 50-50 game. If I were going to lean any side, unfortunately, I'd probably lean the White Sox here.
Now I would lean towards Oakland, but I couldn't pull the trigger. Chris Bazzette's given up 1 run in the last 20 innings in his last 3 starts. So
he's due to give up a few.
And then Lopez, I know the White Sox have a good bullpen, but it's basically going to be a bullpen game because he's going to go 2 or 3 innings, and then they're going to go to their bullpen. It's just the Oakland lineup like yesterday. We talked about wanting to go Oakland yesterday. None of us did it. I did a live bet with Oakland and a couple other things, and they their lineup struggles sometimes, and it's hard to bet.
Like I said, if you go to like Yahoo or MLB or some of those things that have a game cast, and you kind of keep up with how the game is playing out, and they show you like all the batters, and you look at Oakland squad, I'm telling you, it's a team full of guys that hit around 250. And if there's not really a standout guy. Olsen is not he's a big power hitter, but he doesn't really hit for a lot of average. So they can they can really be snuffed out their offense some nights, which makes it them. And to me, I think they're like the quintessential overperforming team, because you look at that lineup and you say, who stands out here? Who's the best hitter? They really don't have one. So I'm not a big fan of that lineup. And I've bet Oakland a lot this year, and I've been right on that a lot with Oakland. They've been actually one of my better teams, but I don't like them tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting bet, the one under 9 looks intriguing. If Pizzette is going to shut down Chicago White Sox offense, and their bullpen's pretty good. So,
well, one thing to consider, it is hot and humid in Chicago today. So whenever it's hot and humid, the ball does fly a little better. And U.S. Cellular is a hitter's park. I think I don't recall exactly, but in years past, it's been one of the best home run hitting parks in all of baseball. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a few dingers leave the yard tonight. So maybe I would be a little bit worried about that under Sean. I think there's going to be some runs scored in that game.
Yeah, but I believe he's a ground ball pitcher too. So if he keeps the ball on the ground, that'll be pretty good too. Maybe no run first inning there.
I wouldn't touch it. Cleveland and Minnesota. Again, I wanted to maybe look at Cleveland last night. That game went into the extra innings. I gave up who won. I didn't play either side. But Minnesota does have the run line differential. They do have the power ranking. Simulation says, though, that Cleveland's more likely to win this game than Minnesota. So it's a mixed bag for me. I can't really play this on this side. I hate the mixed bag games altogether. And then as far as like the betting public is concerned, I mean, they're all over the Twins today. It's almost 60 cents, 60% of the bets, and almost 75 cents on the dollar. I can't ever take Minnesota minus 160. I don't have my minus 160 rule, Sean, but some teams don't qualify.
Yeah, and that's Minnesota. Although I do think Minnesota wins this game, that I'm not putting, $20, $30 on them. If you want to do a $10 parlay and throw Minnesota on it, I would do that, but I wouldn't. And giving up a run and a half and only getting plus 120, I'm not doing that either.
Yeah, me either. Houston and Kansas City. Can Kansas City pull off 2 in a row?
They're not as good in the pitching matchup today as they were yesterday, so it's going to be hard for them. And Houston at minus 190 is too much to pay too. So,
well, you can get minus 169. That's really close. I mean, a couple more points. So, what's 3 cents, Sean?
Yeah, that's true. If I felt really confident about Houston, I'd do it. But I've been burned with Houston a couple times, just not showing up. So, I'm not going to do it.
In the years past, and I mean, last year, the year before, they really, really struggled on the road. This year, at the beginning of the year, that seemed to dissipate, but it looks like it's come back to a part of their resume now, not being able to really produce as well as they do outside of Houston as they do in Houston. I think Houston wins this game. It's hard for me to see Kansas City winning 2 in a row against Houston, but I mean, we've seen Houston do this too before, where they scored up against not so good teams, and they seem to play to the level of the competition. If a team is good, they play well. If the team is not as good, they don't play up to their level. Right now, it looks like the majority of the money is on the Astros. They're taking more than 80% of the tickets, and then a little bit more than 82 cents on the dollar. Of course, they own all the advantages. They're the better team on the road than the Royals are at home. They score more runs than the Royals do. Minus 167 is tempting. It might be something I do in my account later on tonight, but at this point, I'm not taking them. San Diego versus Colorado. I mean, heart attack notwithstanding, we were on the right side of that game yesterday. I liked that game yesterday because we were getting the plus line. Today, we're getting the negative line with Colorado. The numbers still are the same. Like you mentioned, Sean, San Diego has now a losing record to Colorado, which is kind of hard to believe. But I don't like the fact that I'm not getting a plus line with the Colorado team, albeit they're much, much better at home than they are on the road. If I got a plus line, I'd be all over Colorado in this spot. Again, I can't do it with a negative line.
Well, I'm seeing minus 105, so that's close enough for me. Marquez at home, Colorado at home, basically almost being the favorite. They're really good with that, and they're comfortable.
Well, it's almost it's a 50-50 game according to
Yeah.
the numbers.
I'm gonna go Colorado here. I mean, they're not intimidated by San Diego at all. They've proven that they're good at home. Marquez is good at home. I like them to do it again. Hopefully, not blow the lead in the ninth inning and then win. Just from first inning to ninth inning. Let's do it straight through.
I already have high blood pressure. These guys are gonna. They're gonna put me on medicine. Looking at the actual bets, though, Sean, this is another interesting one to me. It's about the tickets are about 55-45 in favor of the Padres, but almost 90 cents on the dollar. So smart money is backing the Padres and backing them heavily. Maybe expecting a big night out of Fernando Tatis Jr. Maybe he's due for another homer. So
the good news is my 3 picks so far. If they win, Vegas is going to have a good night too. And you always want to be on the side of Vegas. So I'm okay with all this.
Yes, you're indeed right about that. I wanted to go with Philadelphia too against Arizona, but Philadelphia is not the same squad as they are on the road as they are at home. Arizona is better at home, whatever that means, than they are on the road. -1. I really wanted to take the Phillies in this spot, but I just can't.
So I did. I saw this line first thing this morning, and the hook was out there, and it got me. -120. You're getting Kyle Gibson. I'm taking the Phillies. I mean,
you're getting -137 now. I mean, a lot of money's going Philadelphia's way.
Yeah, so I mean, it's still good. Phillies are a way better team.
They're a way better team, but they're underwater on the road, Sean.
I know, and they're struggling a little lately. But you got Kyle Gibson going. I don't expect them to give up too many runs to Arizona, and Philly should be able to score against Arizona here.
10 runs over 10 runs in the Cubs game. That depends on the Cubs game, Drew. I think that Cincinnati will get you the runs, but you're going to have to count on them for 90% of the runs. I think I joked the other day that if you get to 2, you beat the Cubs. And I mean, they had 0 to the end. I think maybe they threw a minor league pitcher in there. He hit some, they got some hits on him, but that Cubs offense, I mean, the kid Wisdom, I think, is pretty good. The kid Ortega at the top of the lineup is pretty good, but everything else, not so good. So, I mean, if those 2 guys are getting hits tonight, the Great American Ballpark is good for runs. So I think 10's right about the number that I would be. Like I said, I think 90% of the weight's going to have to be carried by the Reds. The Mets and San Francisco Giants. Sean?
I'm not going either way here. Obviously, I would go San Fran if I was going to pick it. It's just too much of a price to pay. We've talked about Stroman. His ERA is still under 3, but
not lately.
Yeah, he's giving up runs. So I would go San Fran, but I saw a lot better options. I already have 4 picks. I'm not going San Fran here.
I am. I'm taking the Giants in this spot. 85% of the money is on the Giants. Stroman, as you mentioned, has been struggling ever since he got fake sick against I think it was the Pirates, where he wanted to start a fight and then ran off the field because he starts fights and he runs. That's my kind of guy. So I can get -155, which is within my threshold. So I don't need to go ahead and run line this game. And then looking at the numbers, I mean, this might be the Mets really. I mean, they struggle to score as it is. Get them outside of New York City Field, and they really struggle to score. They're like number 24, 25 in all of Major League Baseball, scoring runs on the road, whereas the San Francisco team is a top 10 team at home in producing runs. And this is one of the biggest mismatches of the night in terms of power rankings and run differential. I mean, it's a 60-40 on run differential in favor of San Francisco. So it's a game that I feel comfortable if I wanted to run line. And if you wanted to run line that game, then San Francisco, you're going to get a -1.5. You're going to get +125, 132. That's a nice number. And I think they're very capable of doing that. And that's the kind of number that I like. But I'm okay taking -153 with San Francisco. I think they win this game. So that's my second bet of the night. $30 on the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, and they should win. They covered me yesterday. Actually, I went to bed and everything I had going stayed good. So that doesn't happen many. So
maybe your luck is about to change, Johnny. You never know. I mean, if going to bed and you wake up and things haven't changed, that's a good thing because they usually do for you. I mean, I don't even know what to do with this game. The Dodgers are minus 330 and Pittsburgh is plus 281. I think the Dodgers sleptwalked through the game yesterday, and they woke up in like the 8th inning and, oh, no, we're losing to the Pirates. A couple of home runs. They win 2-1. Hanley Jansen actually closed out a game pretty easily without making me sweat it out. So I was pretty thrilled about that change of pace for me. With these numbers, you can't do anything.
No, it's too much, and I wouldn't even give up a run and a half because they were sleepwalking yesterday, so it could happen again.
If you give up a run and a half, you're still getting minus 160. I mean, that's outside my threshold of a regular game. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not.
And I don't even know about. I mean, you'd have to throw one on the parlay like you did yesterday. That's basically the only thing you could do here.
Yeah, I wouldn't even parlay them because you're not really going to get a whole lot of value on that spot at all. All right, Sean. So that wraps up our picks. Just again, for me, I'm run lining the Cincinnati Reds for what, like plus 115 or something like that?
Plus 112.
112, and then minus 158 on the San Francisco, right? 158 for the San
minus
Francisco.
155.
I'm getting paid better. All right, minus 155 for the Giants. Sean's got a quartet of picks. What are your picks, my man?
So I got the same: Cincinnati minus 1.5, plus 112. Texas plus 128 against Seattle.
You got some courage, my man.
Colorado.
If you were in the Wizard of Oz, you definitely wouldn't be the
Colorado minus 105 against San Diego, and then the Phillies minus 137 against Arizona. These picks I like, though. These right here. I mean, Texas, I've done it on here, and I've done it on my personal account. Them against lefties, they're good.
I like all my picks before they start, Sean.
Yeah, no, I know, but these picks I have today have been working, so it should be another 3-1 or 4-0 day here.
Oh, you're really. I don't make those kind of proclamations. I tell you all the time.
I didn't guarantee it. I'm just saying.
Sean will text me, but I'll tell him all the time. Don't text me why?
Because I'll jinx it.
That's right. So I don't want any jinxing from Sean or anybody else for that matter. Once again, folks, we finally got that horse racing. We finally got that Moneyline Madmen website open. Head on over there, register. Hell, you'll be one of the first ones in there. So I haven't even registered yet. So I'm going to go over there right now myself and create my account. Sean's going to create his account, and we're going to post some other stuff on there as well throughout the course of the day. We'll see if we can find some funny videos. If you find anything funny or you want to talk about, go ahead and let us know at horse racing, ding, 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 at moneylinemadman.com now, or you can hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, and then also follow us at Moneyline Madman on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you tell all your friends about it. Sean, any parting thoughts?
No, that should be it. Hopefully another profitable day.
Well, that's why we show up, right? Like I said, money's in the first name. And then tomorrow we'll be back. We'll have some golf picks. We'll also have MLS picks and baseball. And we're getting closer and closer. This weekend and the NFL might actually be one to look at because, as you mentioned, Sean, it's going to be the dress rehearsal game, I think, for most teams. So you're going to get the starters probably to halftime. So maybe we'll bet some halftime numbers. And that's it for today, Sean. So we'll be back in 23 hours and 30 minutes. And once again, thanks for showing up. We hope that all of your tickets are winners. That's the point.